What is up, Frag fam? Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. So I thought it would be really good to kind of get back to the basics here for this video. Now, what I mean by that is generally with my channel, and especially more recently, I've been focusing a lot more on niche fragrances and then specific list topics that are probably more tailored towards the connoisseur, the collector of fragrances, not people that are new into fragrances. So for this video, we're going to be going over my top 5 fragrances on the designer side to start your collection. So we're going to be just covering, stuff that it's pretty affordable. Again, these are designers, but these are not your high-end designers either. I think you could find probably most of these for about $70 or less, and I will actually link all these down below as well, which I do not normally do, just so if you're interested, you're newer into fragrances, and maybe you are, you want to pick one of these up, you definitely can do that down below. So with all that out of the way, let's roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back from the intro, and like I already said, this is going to be my top 5 designer fragrances to start your collection. These are certainly the designer fragrances that I would start my collection with if I had to start over with the knowledge that I have currently, but I owned no fragrances. These would probably be the first 5 I would pick up on the designer side, or close to the first 5 certainly. Additionally, if you guys like this video as you're watching on and you find it useful, helpful, or just entertaining, definitely drop a like. If this breaks over 100 likes, I will do the niche version of this as well, which would of course be my top 5 niche fragrances to start your collection with. We also have a couple of channel announcements really quick. The biggest one is I'm going to have a large training cycle from August 2nd to the 16th. I don't think I've disclosed this yet fully on my channel, but I am in the National Guard and we have our annual training, which is called AT. Again, that's from August 2nd to the 16th. So I will be out of the house completely with no internet and everything. So of course I can't make videos. Currently, I'm trying to get ahead on video production. So I'm probably going to slow down how often I release videos until after it's over. So currently you're probably going to see videos coming out about every other day rather than 2 or 3 days in a row with a gap, which is kind of what I normally do. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Hopefully that's not a huge issue, but I do want to have videos covered all the way through to the end of AT, which again is mid-August. Also, back to the video topic really quick before we actually get into the top 5 list. For the picks here, I tried to go with stuff that is a little bit less known. So these aren't your 5 most run-of-the-mill designers that you guys have all heard of. I'm going to tell you right now, there's not Dolce & Gabbana, the one on here. We do not have like YSL L'Homme Parfum. We don't have Dior Sauvage on here, stuff like that. Like I said, this is stuff that is definitely like appealing and easy to get because it is a designer and it is affordable, but maybe a little bit more unique. I'm trying to keep in style with my channel. I'm not trying to give you guys the most run-of-the-mill fragrances, but again, these are ones that are going to be on the affordable end. They're designers and they're going to get the job done. As far as the categories for these fragrances, I did give a category for each of them. So we're going to have an office or a work fragrance. We're going to have just a freshie, something really good for the warm weather, the summertime. We're going to have a date night fragrance or kind of a going out fragrance. There's going to be a dumb reach fragrance that's going to work in any situation you could possibly think of. And then actually a black tie fragrance or something that you can wear really dressed up when you're trying to smell elegant. So with all that out of the way, finally, let's dive into the video. Okay, so starting the video off, we are going to be starting with the office or work fragrance. Now, I think a lot of people probably would have put Prada L'Homme here. That's a really good, kind of soapy, but sweet, spicy, fresh fragrance as well. A great choice. I did consider putting it here, but I decided I wanted to go for something that is a little bit less talked about. This was very, very popular, a decade ago. Nowadays, the flankers of this one gets a lot more love. This one, not so much anymore, but it still smells absolutely amazing. Definitely worthy here in 2021. So this is coming from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, and this is L'Homme. Like I said, the flankers of this one get a lot more love, especially LatinAutor L'Homme. I think that's what this house is really known for. This is what started it, and this definitely does have similarities to LatinAutor L'Homme. It is spicy, and there's kind of a creamy sweetness to it coming from tonka bean in here, but this one is a lot fresher, and there's actually a little bit of a soapiness. So this features ginger as the most dominant note. And I want to say this is one of the first men's fragrances that really made ginger popular. This is a fresh ginger. Again, it is very fruity, but there is kind of an astringent bite to it. It is a little bit spicy, but you're getting a lot more of the spices from some black pepper in here, and there's actually just a spices note. You do get some citruses in here as well, which makes it, again, very fresh working with that ginger. There is also, again, kind of a sweetness in here and a creaminess as well. There is tonka beans, so I think that works really well with the freshness and then kind of that, that ginger, that bite. So it's a really, really nice fragrance. Again, perfect for the work. I think you could wear this one casually as well and do some other stuff with it. But again, there's kind of a class to it. There is a soapiness, which gives it kind of this formal appeal, which is why I think this would work really well in an office setting or any kind of work setting in general. Okay, so up next here at the number 4 spot, we are moving on to the Freshie or the warm weather fragrance. Now, on the designer side especially, there are so many fresh fragrances. There's so many aroma chemicals nowadays used to create a citrus accord, and then blending that with, a clean musk and then some woody notes or whatever. There's so many fragrances again out there that smell like that. And because of that, it can be really hard to stand out with a Freshie. Because of that, I chose a pretty unique fresh fragrance. Again, this one is from a designer house. It is decently affordable, but I think the scent profile overall for this one is pretty unique. There's really nothing else out there that smells exactly like this one. Additionally, this fragrance is a little bit under the radar. It does not get as much talk as other fresh fragrances, including other fresh fragrances from this house. So again, you're gonna smell unique with this one, and it's gonna smell fantastic. So this is coming from the house of Christian Dior, and this is Dior Homme Sport. Wow, this stuff smells really good. And I actually, I wore this recently, and it had been months since I'd worn it previously. Honestly, probably since last summer. I always forget how good this stuff smells. Dior Homme Cologne gets all the love from this house. I think that one smells a lot more basic and just simpler. This one has more depth to it. I find it more appealing because there's a little bit more sweetness here. And again, it's just more unique. So this focuses around blood orange, which is a nice citrusy note that has a little bit of a sweetness and kind of a richness to it. There's also pear in here as well, which pear usually brings a nice sweet quality as well. You see a very dominant pear note in Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male, just kind of as a note. There is actually grapefruit in here as well, and lemon, so it is very sharp, astringent, very zesty, uplifting. You do get pink pepper in here, bringing a fresh spiciness with a little bit of a creaminess, and it actually pairs with sandalwood, which brings a woody quality, but again, also a very creamy presence as well. So this one is spicy. It is a little bit kind of aromatic because there's geranium as well, and it is very fruity, again, zesty, kind of sweet, just overall a really pleasant fragrance, for a Freshie, very unique, and again, it's kind of slept on, so you're not gonna smell super basic with this one. And I think you can find this discounted for probably about $70, maybe $80 max. Again, these will be linked down below. Definitely my pick for the warm weather fragrance for this list. Okay, so up next here at the number 3 spot, we're moving on to the date night or going out fragrance. So this one is coming from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier, and this is Le Male Essence de Parfum. And this, I've said this numerous times, this one bears a strong resemblance to CMRRA Privé, which if you guys are familiar with that fragrance, that is very popular for the same scenarios. Again, date night, going out, very appealing. It's known for kind of a whiskey leather accord, although to my nose, it is not really a super boozy or leather heavy fragrance. It is faintly detectable, but they're both just very mellow. This one features a lot of the same notes. You do get leather in here, you get lavender. There's actually cardamom, all of which are in CMRRA Privé as well. This one is missing the whiskey note though, so there's no booziness to this one. To me, it is a lot more focusing on that aromatic lavender, and it's very creamy, working with some vanilla. There is a prominent, again, cardamom note, bringing a sweet, sensual spice with a little bit of a freshness, and there is a detectable leather in here as well. It is very just supple. It's like a suede. It's not a dirty leather at all. And there is actually tonka bean and amber wood in here as well. The amber wood does bring kind of a woody quality, but kind of fresh at the same time, Just a very pleasant fragrance overall. Again, this one is similar to CMRRA Privé, but to my nose, it's just much better. It does smell higher quality, and I just prefer it overall. It does come in a larger bottle style, so you're getting more juice, and for about the same price as you would pay for CMRRA Privé anyway. So again, for date night, this is definitely my recommendation. If you guys have not tried this one, aromatic, spicy, leathery, sweet, seductive, that's everything about this fragrance. It smells fantastic. Okay, so we are finally moving on to the number 2 spot, and this is just the Dumb Reach fragrance. So of course you can wear this in any situation, anytime, anywhere. You could really wear this in any of the scenarios that we've talked about previously on this list, date night, work, in the summer for a Freshie, whatever. But those ones that we previously talked about are definitely a lot more tailored for those situations. This one is gonna do everything okay, but it's not gonna do one thing super extraordinarily. Nonetheless, it still smells fantastic. That's why it's here in this video. This is coming from the house of Prada, and this is Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, which you guys definitely know about this one. Again, this is probably one of the more run-of-the-mill fragrances that I put here on this list, but again, this definitely is not as big as Dior Sauvage, and I think this is a superior fragrance to Dior Sauvage. And the reason, if you're not aware why I'm comparing it to that fragrance, is because this is basically a clone of it. Like, let's be real, this is Prada's take on Dior Sauvage. What they're doing here differently is they have definitely toned down the ambroxan and the metallic notes that fragrance has. This is not as in-your-face, cold, kind of screechy. There's lavender in here actually, which makes it a lot more smooth. Does bring kind of a soapiness, that traditional Prada soapiness that they're known for. So again, that makes it a little bit smoother. This one, to my nose, actually does bring a little bit more sweetness as well, which is really interesting. intriguing. This still features the bergamot and then the black pepper that are in Dior Sauvage. So it is still citrusy, does kind of have a spicy quality to it as well. But again, it is smoothed out quite a bit. There is still ambroxan present here, but not in as big of a dose. So overall, again, Dior Sauvage, smoothened out. You can wear this in any situation possible. It's a really appealing fragrance. Definitely my pick for your dumb reach. Okay, so we have finally moved on to the number 1 spot, and this is gonna be your black tie event fragrance, or you're just, you're dressed up, very formal occasion fragrance. So this one, I'll admit, is a little bit bold, but it smells absolutely fantastic when you're dressed appropriately, very confidently, very elegantly. This is gonna match the part. It's definitely gonna be your sidekick in that instance. So this is coming from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, and this is M7 Oud Absolu, which this is basically a reformulated version of the original M7 from like 2001. I'll be honest, I have not smelled that fragrance. I've heard it's much better. It probably is, but this thing still smells fantastic. And you can still buy this one nowadays for a very affordable price. I am not 100% sure. This one might be discontinued, but like I said, it is still readily available. You can find it out there for like $60, $70. I think I bought mine here for about $65. So again, I will link all these down below. This is an amazing designer oud fragrance, which M7, the original version, that was the first designer oud on the market, at least mainstream designer oud on the market. And basically we can thank that fragrance for all of the oud fragrances we're seeing nowadays. So this one is kind of the continuation of that, as it's essentially supposed to be the same fragrance, but just kind of reformulated, I guess, meeting IFRA standards nowadays. So of course it features oud. There's also mandarin orange in here. There is myrrh and then some patchouli. So to my nose, when you first spray this on, you get a ton of this mandarin orange. It is very juicy, sweet. It is a little bit zesty, but again, it's more of a sweet mandarin orange. You are immediately actually getting kind of the myrrh and the patchouli as well. There is kind of this leafiness. The myrrh does bring kind of a dark, crystally sweetness as well. A little bit resinous, but not overly powdery. And then after a couple of minutes, the oud really kind of takes center stage, and this becomes an oud dominated fragrance. To my nose, it is a little bit oudy, but not in like a skanky way. Again, being a designer oud, they're probably using a synthetic oud. If they're using a real one, it's in like the smallest quantities, but there is actually a little bit of a boldness to this fragrance. This is not like a Tom Ford's oud would. It actually is, I would say, a little bit more challenging than that, but that's why it is perfect for a black tie event. Again, something that is gonna stand out, definitely get people's attention. That's what this fragrance is gonna do. But again, for the most part, I do find this one quite wearable, but you want something, again, a little bit bold for a dressier occasion, and this is gonna be your sidekick for that. Well, there you guys go. That was my top 5 designer fragrances to start your collection here in 2021. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, maybe just let me know your thoughts, as well as some new video ideas or topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you've not already, if you could hit the subscribe button and then the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.